I would suspect that if you've been using Photoshop for any great length of time, you're probably already familiar with the process of cloning. I mean, you take something from one image and you move it over on top of something in another image, cloning. But you do it precisely with brushes, which makes it a very nice procedure to work with. Now, if you go into your exercise folder, you will find an image that begins with the number 713. It's a photo spin image. I call it Out of Africa. In the symmetry of this image, we have, I don't know actually how many elephants comprise a herd, but we have a herd of elephants. And I want to get rid of the guy on the left. I just don't think he balances the image out. Now, there are a couple of ways that we can do this. We don't have to clone the elephant out. There are other ways we can do it. But there are probably 57 ways to do everything in this program. And sometimes the method that you've been using over and over again because it's so good won't work in another situation. So you want to know all your options. Now, number one, to get rid of that elephant, I do not want to actually get rid of the elephant. We're going to use an additional layer. And I can't think of a circumstance working in Photoshop with cloning that I wouldn't want to at least start the process out working in a separate layer. So if we come down here and click the New button right there, we get a nice blank layer. Now, I thought I might cover him with some of the grass that's on the right. If we go into our cloning tool, I want to show you something that's very important to working in this tool, and that's the aligned option right here, which by default is on. Now, we also have to do one other thing. I have a blank layer, and the default is only clone in the current layer. It's not going to work for us. We have to tell it the current and below, or just all the layers. I'm going to say all layers. Now, that part will work. So if I come over here and pick up some of this grass, I can start putting it over on top of this elephant. But let's go back to aligned for a second. Aligned holds the point of your offset from one part to the other. So if I come over here, let's get a bigger brush. I'm going to use the right bracket key. I love being able to do that. And if I come over here and hold down the Alt key and then click, just like that, I'm going to come over here and let's start working on our elephant. Now again, every time I stop, it will go back to that original point and I can start the process all over again. So it also helps with the grass so it doesn't look like it is just cloned from over there. With aligned off, I have control. It goes back to the original sample point every time I let go. Just like that. It's magic. Now, of course, we do have him hidden in that layer. So if I want to get rid of something in an image, I look for something that might have been there and I cover it. I turn aligned off so I can keep resetting my point. Now, what if we want to move him? Let's do this. Let's turn layer 1 off for now so we can see him again. Let's create another new layer. Just like that. Now we have all layers selected, so we're good to go up there. But this time I want to keep him aligned, so I'm going to turn that back on again. And there's one other thing I want to do. I don't want him as big as he is over there. So we're going to go into this button right here, and we're going to look at the width and the height, which are set to 100%. I'm going to change that to about, let's say 65%. Now these are locked together so they both change, width and height. You could rotate if you wanted to. Let's close that down. Let's come over here and let's go ahead and Alt click. I'll start with his eye again. And I'm going to get right about here maybe. And just start putting him in. Notice he's smaller. Now our choice now is to leave both of them in because they kind of set the photograph now with the balance on the left or the right, or choose to turn this one back on again and get rid of them and move them over there and make them smaller. Cloning is an art, in my opinion. There's a lot to it to make it look realistic. But once you get into the flow of it and you begin working, you can do some pretty amazing things with this tool that's been there for 20 years, the Clone Stamp tool.